Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys a review for One Piece chapter 964. And I gotta say, man, I absolutely love this chapter for a few different reasons. So, number one, I absolutely love the chapter because it really shows you a lot. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of flashbacks, and I hate it when they tell us that certain events happened in the past and they don't actually show you the events unfold. And that's one area where Eiichiro Oda really does a good job when it comes to that. That doesn't happen in every manga. I think that, I think a lot of times it's easy to be spoiled when you're getting greatness. That's just a tool of a really good writer. So I like seeing that. And what I really enjoy about this is the fact that, with Oden understands that there's a world bigger than anything that he could have ever imagined. And when he gets told, like, yo, there's even more islands than you could even begin to count. And Oden gets the opportunity to explore and go to these different islands. Oda tells you two different messages here. Number one, by using Oden, he shows you that if you want to chase after your dream, it's never going to be easy. And so you see how Oden's just holding on to those chains and he's being beat by the waters. He's being attacked by these fish monsters. Like, Oden is going through hell, but when you want to get to the top at whatever it is you want to do, so it doesn't have to be something as outlandish as Oden wanting to join a pirate crew and see more of the world. It isn't necessarily that. It could be something as simple as you want to be the best person at whatever job you have. The road to being the top is never going to be easy. There's no shortcuts to it. And that's what you see there with Oden. Like, Whitebeard tells him, I'll give you 3 days. If you can hold on to that chain for 3 days, I'll let you join. I'm a man of my word. Well, see, that's the thing about opportunity. You can't bitch about it when opportunity comes. You have to take opportunity in whatever form it comes to you if it provides you the chance to actually achieve your goals. So I love that message that Oda gives you right there. That's a very, very good piece of writing right there. Now, the other thing is that I also like how the other thing that Oda shows you by using the Oden character is that, in order to truly grow and become the person that you yourself want to become, sometimes it requires you stepping outside of your bubble. Sometimes you have to experience new things, meet people who have different opposing views than you, and those opposing views might be on the extreme level, but the way that you grow is by actually sitting down and listening to them, having that conversation, having that dialogue, and you might end the conversation not in complete agreement. Hell, you might not agree on anything, but you've opened yourself up to an opposing viewpoint that you might not have considered before. And just by doing that, you yourself have grown. And so the way you see that with Oden is how when he goes to all these different islands and everything, how Oden is just embracing the changes. Like, I've never seen buildings like this. Look at these animals. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Little things like that. It's one of those times where it really just shows you that going on an adventure for a character like this, just like how Luffy is, it's really going to add to the growth. And there's actually some parallels to Luffy and to Oden in this. Yes, both of them want an adventure, but both of them very strong-willed. There's no way in hell that Oden is going to be a subordinate for a long period of time. He's got too strong of a leadership alpha mentality. And when you have two alphas in the same room like that, it takes a lot to make an alpha submit, but eventually they're going to want to break off and do their own thing. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Now, a good leader is able to keep them in check long enough to accomplish whatever it is that he's trying to do. So I like that you see that aspect there. And then Oda also teaches us a third lesson through the character of Oden here. So the other thing that he does is that sometimes when you're chasing your dreams, you might be faced with a situation where you might have to actually give up on your dreams for the sake of somebody else. And that is the hardest thing to do because that's when you're at a literal fork in the road. And that could be something that's life-changing as, you might get a child or you might be married to a spouse and you might have to put your dream on hold so your spouse can actually live out their dream. It's one of those give and take type of situations. And in the case of Oden, look how it worked out for him. So he had the chance where he could have stayed on for a few more minutes and he would have joined Whitebeard's crew. But if he never let go, he never would have met his wife, which means that his whole life would have been changed at that point. Now, what really works out for the character of Oden here is the fact that when he let go and he took that other path, he just got lucky in that separate path that he took eventually curved back onto the path that he was going to be on if he stayed on the ship. So I like that. Granted, there might be some differences. Again, he wouldn't have actually picked up his wife, but ultimately he still would have been able to go out and visit those different islands with Whitebeard. So I like that a lot, man. Like, that is key right there. Oda is taking this opportunity here with the character of Oden, and he's teaching. He's dropping jewels if you're willing to actually read the stuff and pick up on it. Like, I like little moments like that. Like, don't get me wrong, like the art and everything, absolutely beautiful, very expressive. As usual, the art's typically pretty good in One Piece, so that isn't anything to gripe on. But what I will say too is that I thought it was kind of interesting how when you meet Toki, one of the things that you see is that she's in a situation where she's having to bluff herself, but again, fate intervenes, and she was getting ready to kind of go back into the past. So I like how, you know, Oda is kind of dropping the breadcrumbs like, yo, like, yeah, you know what her powers are, but now you're seeing how she is using them. And so now you're starting to kind of get more to her character. So I like seeing that element right there, because I was always very curious about her. I like that we're actually getting some real substance to the character of Toki because of how important she's going to be. My question, though, is I'm really curious on how the Roger dynamic is going to play out here. Like, what's their first interaction going to be? Because Whitebeard considers Oden to be like a brother. He calls him little brother at this point. And the thing that I'm kind of curious about is how's that going to play out with Roger? Is this why Roger and Whitebeard actually sit down and exchange cups? I believe that was a different set of circumstances right there, but that's going to be interesting to see that aspect of how that plays out. Now, one other thing to kind of keep in mind, this really kind of hit my head as I was reading the chapter, but you know, Whitebeard talks about the fact that like Oden would have been great muscle, but if he would have actually taken Whitebeard onto his ship, he'd be kidnapping royalty. And the thing that really hit me on that is it made me think back to Alabasta, because if you guys will recall, and if you're new here to the channel, I would implore you, go back and look at the Alabasta review where Vivi was, where the Straw Hats and Vivi were doing their goodbye. Basically, one of the things I said during that time was like, yo, I would really, really love it if Vivi joined the Straw Hat crew, because I just fell in love with that character and her interactions with the Straw Hats, just how much she grew during that time period. Like, Vivi, no cap, but Vivi, during the time since she met Luffy up until the time that they rescued Alabasta and she was seeing the Straw Hats off, Vivi went through more growth than some main characters go through in their entire series. So I was very, very excited about that possibility. And I never considered what you actually have said here in this chapter, which is by taking Oden onto Whitebeard's ship, it's essentially kidnapping royalty. I never considered that possibility, and that's what would have happened if Luffy would have allowed Vivi to join the Straw Hat crew. So that's kind of interesting to see that bit right there. I like how Oda, even without realizing, Oda's teaching you more about the back end of lore. That might have been something obvious. That wasn't something I actually considered. So my chapter question to you guys is, has there ever been a moment where you had to give up on your dreams for somebody else? And then the other question I have is, if that is not the case, and you're currently pursuing your own dreams, what dream are you pursuing right now? And what are you doing to make it a reality? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Have an awesome day, guys.